Hello, I'm Mary Millard and welcome to the Locavore Healthy Living Kitchen. Today, more and more people are identifying themselves as locavores, a new term which is derived from combining the word local with the Latin suffix vorare, meaning to devour or simply to eat. Locavores believe in a farm-to-fork economy that prophesizes the gospel of fresh food, saying that it is both tastier and better for you. So today we'll celebrate the locavore in all of us, and I'll demonstrate two delicious meals that are both fresh from the farm. Our first recipe is an eggplant roll-up. Then I'll show you how to make a delicious farm-fresh ratatouille. Let's get cooking. Great, so the first recipe that we're going to do today is grilled eggplant, and we're going to fill them with roasted red peppers, arugula, some herbed goat cheese. You can use really different kinds of cheeses. I'll talk to you about that in a few minutes. And some pine nuts. And it's a really easy, delicious lunch dish, main dish, or side dish. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure all of our vegetables are clean. So we rinse our vegetables. We're going to cut off the top and the bottom of the eggplant. And we're going to cut it into thin slices. These outer slices we're not going to use, although throw them on the grill, season them, marinate them. I'm going to show you that in a second, and eat them because they're delicious, but they don't make great roll-ups. We're going to slice the eggplant about, I don't know, about a ½ an inch thick. All the way down till you get to the end. And again, this last piece, can do it like this or vertically. I'm a little vertically challenged, so I'll do it this way. All right, so we have the eggplant sliced. Next thing I'm gonna do is make a marinade, which is really simple. It's kind of along the lines of a vinaigrette, if you're making a vinaigrette. We're gonna start off with some balsamic vinegar and some olive oil. For this recipe, if you're going to do 2 eggplants, it's about a ½ cup of olive oil. I'm going to do about a ¼ cup of olive oil today because we're only going to do 1 eggplant. Equal amounts of olive oil and vinegar. This is a really great system to make salad dressing. Just put it in a ball jar and season it with a little salt and pepper. And we're using sea salt. You can add anything to this for the marinade. I'm just going to put a couple cloves of garlic. I'm going to chop those up really fine and add those to the jar. And you could put any fresh vegetable. You could put basil. You could put marjoram. Anything that is fresh from the farm, that's the best. If you have herbs in your backyard, go out and snip what you have and use those. Thyme, could really use anything. We're going to add this into the marinade. I put the salt and pepper in, you put the top on. Just give it a little shake. We're going to lay out the eggplant, put the eggplant on here, get it ready to take to the grill. Lovely. And we're just going to take our marinade. Remember, it has the salt and pepper in it. And we're just going to use a little brush and brush it on both sides. It smells really great. Brush it on both sides of the eggplant. Get it ready for grilling. I'll tell you, if you're in a hurry, you can spray this if you have cooking spray, like olive oil cooking spray, a little salt and pepper. That is easy and delicious to grill your vegetables as well. You don't have to make the marinade. This just adds a little bit more depth of flavor. So, okay, so you see it's picking up the balsamic, it's getting brown in color. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these over and put some marinade on the other side. When you're done with the marinade, all you have to do is put the top on, put it back in the refrigerator. You're using vegetables here, so there's no real great cross-contamination if you were brushing this on meat or seafood or poultry. It smells good. Even just this balsamic and garlic and olive oil smells delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna move this off to the side. Put the top on this. This will go back in the refrigerator. You can baste it while you grill it. So I am going to I have my clean red peppers. So we're gonna take these out to the preheated grill. It's on high, and we're gonna grill them, get grill marks on them. It's gonna take about 4 or 5 minutes total for the eggplant. So maybe 3 minutes on one side, 2 on another, on the other side. The red peppers are gonna take a little bit longer. You want them to be completely charred and black. Don't be afraid, and just keep turning these, okay? So I'm gonna take these out to the grill. Be right back. So fresh from the grill, we have the eggplant that has the grill marks. You do that by just turning them a 45-degree angle. You might want to use a flat spatula to take them off of the grill because sometimes they do stick. So just to let you know that, we have the red peppers. They're charred and ready to go. So I'm gonna set these off to the side a little bit, and I'm gonna clean the red peppers. When you char them out on the grill, if you have a gas burner inside your house, you can actually just set them right on your gas burner as well. And what I did that you did not see is I took these off of the grill once they were charred, and I just put them in a brown paper bag, a lunch bag, just something where the humidity is going to be high because they're going to kind of steam in there. And this charred skin comes off really pretty easily. You can see I'm just taking a paring knife and I'm just going ahead and peeling off the skin. Probably seen this done a lot over the course of watching TV cooking shows, but it's very simple. You can also go to your favorite store and buy already roasted red peppers. Sometimes they have them like whole red peppers, sometimes in halves, sometimes in strips. But you know, we're talking getting back to the farm, we're talking about being locavores, what to do with all these great ingredients. So I think this is a wonderful way to use these red peppers. I'm just performing surgery here, opening them up and scraping out the seeds. They smell delicious. And the end of the summer, I'll tell you, you will probably find these red peppers just, you know, they're really inexpensive. So you can roast some of these and keep them in your refrigerator. They are wonderful on sandwiches, something different. Okay, so after I get all the seeds off, as you can see, there's the outer side, the skin side, I should say. I'm just gonna take off all the excess, if there's any charred bits, and I'm gonna go ahead and just cut these into strips that will go in these eggplant rolls. You can do this with any kind of peppers. They do not have to be red peppers. You can do this with poblano peppers, serrano peppers. Okay, so we're gonna start to assemble the eggplant rolls. So we're gonna lay out, I just usually put the wider side down towards me because that's where we're gonna put the cheese and any kind of soft cheese. There's different light herb cheeses available. This is a nice fresh goat's cheese with herbs in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some cheese at the base of the eggplant. And it's probably about 2 tablespoons. Okay, so this was about 3 ounces of the herbed goat cheese for 1 eggplant. And that was an average sized eggplant, it wasn't huge. So next thing I'm gonna do is add the red pepper strips. And you can have them hang out the sides a little bit. The pleasures of eating fresh are, you will find out when you have dishes like this. It's, they're easy and really good for you as well. Okay, so I'm gonna put some arugula. Actually, I think I'll put the pine nuts on next, just because they might stick a little better. So I took some pine nuts and I toasted them. And for years, I always toasted the nuts that I use for recipes in the oven. But a really easy way is just to put the nuts in the microwave on a plate and just try different times. Don't do more than a minute and toast your nuts there. So, and if you need a little bit more than a minute, then go ahead and add 15, 30 seconds more. but it really is nice, doesn't use as much energy, doesn't heat up the kitchen, and it's a great way to do it. Last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and put some farm fresh arugula. But look at all the colors together. It is beautiful. My daughter would love this for dinner tonight. Sometimes you'll see arugula, like these are very small strands. Sometimes you see it longer leaves of arugula. It's all delicious. It has kind of a peppery taste. If you've never tried it, oh, I really recommend that you try it. Next thing we're gonna do is say a prayer and start rolling. Okay, so we're gonna roll those up. Now I have to say, these, in my opinion, would be a great treat for the beach. Easy to make, and actually probably pretty easy to eat at the beach or for a picnic or something like that. Very colorful, nice summer dish. So just get your serving plate. Now you can serve these individually, like for a main course or a first course. But also you could serve these on a big platter. These would be a really nice item to take to a party. And you could put some mesclun salad or whatever fresh greens with a little vinaigrette on top. That'd be a great way to serve these as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just put these on the plate. And they are colorful. I'm gonna slice one open just because I want to see how beautiful it looks. But we'll go ahead, slice it open, and you can see all the wonderful colors of summer. So stay tuned, we're gonna do some ratatouille next, so stick around. Healthy cooking doesn't mean that you have to live on a diet of sticks and twigs. Usually healthy cooking means that all you have to do is follow a few simple rules like steam, bake, grill, braise, boil, or microwave your foods. Modify or eliminate recipes that include butter or ask you to deep fry or saute in animal fat. And try to avoid added oils and butter. Use non-stick cookware instead. Coming up, I'll show you how to make a delicious farm-fresh ratatouille. So now we're going to make some ratatouille, a delicious, fresh side dish. Could use it as a main course by adding pasta or rice to it. We're going to start with doing a lot of chopping. Do not be afraid because you can buy many of these things already chopped in your local grocery store, but they may not be fresh from the farm. So I'm so happy to be using these local products. We have some red bell peppers. I'm going to go ahead and clean these up. Take the seeds out and chop them up. Okay, just kind of getting all the seeds out of there. You don't need to roast the peppers like we did for our last recipe for the eggplant roll-ups. Just fresh and raw like this. So ratatouille originated in the Mediterranean. France likes to take credit for it, but it actually, different countries have different versions of this ratatouille. And it's actually kind of a peasant dish, and it's really using everything that is fresh and good and regional in the areas where this recipe was developed. The last of the red peppers. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and clean these banana peppers, which they're typically yellowish in color and long, and they're not hot. They're not spicy. This recipe actually does really well. If you are growing any jalapeno peppers or little chili peppers back in the garden in a pot in your garden, throw one of these in. Just chop it up and put it into this ratatouille. It really adds kind of a little different flair to it, and it's delicious. So these are just banana peppers. This recipe in particular came from a chef, some of you might know. His name is Eric Reipert, and he's a wonderful chef. He has a fish restaurant in New York City, and this is adapted from one of his cookbooks. I worked with him at a restaurant in Washington, D.C., at the Watergate Hotel, and just to watch him cook, he was like a dancer. He was beautiful to watch. He still is kind of beautiful to watch, actually. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut these onions. And yeah, maybe I will use the whole onion. And again, these are kind of big 1/2-inch pieces. And we're gonna preheat some olive oil in just a minute and go ahead and throw the onions and the peppers into the saute pan. I'll go ahead and throw in some olive oil right now. And that is nice and hot. Okay, so here we go. We have our nice, looks beautiful. Get this going right here in the pan. I'm gonna go ahead, throw these in. Smells wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and put some zucchini in. All right. Excuse me. Give this a little stir. We're gonna cook the peppers and the onions for a few minutes. I'll go ahead and finish the zucchini and the tomatoes. We're gonna use fresh tomatoes. And just taking out the core. 3 tomatoes. These are nice sized tomatoes. And we're gonna do our best to take the seeds out of them, which is actually not that difficult. Nothing in cooking is difficult, in my opinion. Some things may be more time consuming, but nothing is really too difficult. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these tomatoes in half. And the seeds come out a little bit easier when they're in half. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use my finger and kind of get the bulk of the seeds right out. There you go, you can see most of the seeds are out. There's probably a few stuck in there. You can give it a little squeeze so you can see the difference before and after. Okay, so here the seeds are still in it, here the seeds are out of it. Very easy to do. Use your clean hands and you're ready to tackle that one. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the zucchini and the tomatoes to this. Just kind of stir that up, okay. Move this over here. All right, we're gonna slice some garlic. We're gonna slice it, not chop it. And it calls for an entire head of garlic, not a clove, but a head of garlic. So I have it already sliced here. I'm sorry, I have it already peeled here. Go ahead, put this out here. I'm just gonna slice it up. I hope you like garlic because this is delicious. Okay, so once you have it peeled, you can just kind of go ahead and when you're slicing it, these are really small. You just want to tuck your fingers under a little bit so you don't slice off the tip of your finger. And go ahead and I think you can buy garlic sliced. I know you can buy it already minced. I don't know about, I've seen it sliced. Or you can buy the whole cloves already peeled, which I have to say I love that. That makes it really handy, really easy. You come home from work, you want to cook something fresh, something delicious, make it easy on yourself. Do what you need to do to make it easy on yourself, but think about trying to keep it fresh and wholesome. Gonna go ahead and put that in there. A little stir. Whoops, flying zucchini. I wish you could smell it. It smells really wonderful. I am going to peel some eggplant. I already took a little strip off of one. These are 2 smaller size eggplants. I'm gonna go ahead and peel them. If you like the fiber, keep the peels on. I'm just gonna peel them because this particular recipe calls for it. Eggplant in itself does not have a ton of flavor, so it has nice texture though. If you're trying to eliminate some meats from your diet, you know, eggplant is one of those vegetables that really does, it has that kind of texture of meat, as do like portobello mushrooms. You know, you can slice it thick and grill it, serve it with like a marinara sauce, something like that. Eggplant will start to turn color. It'll get a little bit darker. If you're not going to use it for a while, you can sprinkle it with lemon juice if you want. But for our purposes today, we're going to put them right here in the pan, and we're going to cook these for about 15 minutes. All right. Beautiful. The tomatoes kind of melt inside. I hope you can see this from the camera up above. I want to add some fresh oregano. This came from a local university has an organic garden, and that's where a lot of these products are coming from today. This is their oregano. This takes about, I'm going to say about 2 tablespoons of fresh oregano. Again, use what you have. If you have marjoram or basil, delicious as well. Okay. Go ahead and just chop this up, put it in. Okay. Go ahead and put that in. Looks lovely. I'm going to season it with some sea salt and pepper. I use sea salt because it's here today. You can use any kind of salt, really. Kosher salt is what I use a lot at home. But I'm going to just put some beautiful sea salt in here. And lovely. Last thing I'm going to do is add about a cup of chicken stock, and that will just kind of enhance the flavors a little bit. You could use vegetable stock as well if you were vegetarian or thinking about becoming vegetarian. But just a nice chicken stock in here will really just kind of add to the depth of flavors of this ratatouille. All right. Here we go. Just adding the chicken stock in. And it's going to cook maybe another 10 to 15 minutes at this point. I'm going to slide this down because we're going to prep for the tuna, which the ratatouille is going to be served with a piece of tuna on top. So stay with me. So we're back. The ratatouille is still cooking. You want the chicken stock to be absorbed by all the vegetables. So it's cooking on medium heat, although it is really kind of bubbling up, but I'm watching that closely, or I hope I'm watching it closely. I've been known to get distracted. But so that's cooking up. We have some beautiful pieces of tuna. Now this ratatouille would be enough to serve 6 for this dish. I'm just cooking 2 pieces of tuna here today. I have a pan that is preheated to medium-high heat. And I'm going to use canola oil, so it really doesn't mask the flavor. Sometimes some of the other oils might mask the flavor of the fish, plus canola has a little higher smoke point. First thing I'm going to do is put some salt and pepper on top of both sides of the fish. And, whoops. A little premature. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to go ahead and add some canola oil to the pan. was probably about 3 tablespoons. Smoking up, I'm gonna go ahead and just stand back. Add the fish to the pan. Cook it for a couple minutes on each side. In the meantime, I'm gonna take some fresh basil leaves, that is for part of the garnish. Just gonna take them right here off the plant. And I'm going to julienne them. Go ahead, really thinly slice, if you can see that. And beautiful. It smells so good. Okay, so we have that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and flip the tuna. Ooh, spat at me a little bit. Can you see me through the smoke? All right, lovely. Tuna, you really just want to cook it till it's rare in the center. You don't want to cook it all the way through. These are beautiful pieces. Just a couple minutes on each side. You should be able to see some pink in between. I'm just going to get it brown on that side. And then we're going to go ahead and serve it up. Get my plates. Here. It's going to get topped with a little soy sauce and a special ingredient at the end. Lovely. Just going to take the tuna off the heat. Go ahead and what I would recommend when you're cooking like a big fish steak like this is just to take it out of the refrigerator maybe 20 minutes before you're going to actually cook it. Bring the temperature down a little bit, more towards room temperature. I'm going to move the tuna steaks in front for you. Okay, so we have the tuna's getting almost ready to be plated up. I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken stock is almost absorbed here. Got a little ways to go. I think it's good. This recipe at the very end, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, which really just kind of heightens the flavors of everything that's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that right into the ratatouille. It's not like a lemon where there's a ton of big seeds. So, and that's just right at the end, because you don't really want that lime juice to be cooked off. Okay, beautiful. Give that a little stir. We are going to go ahead and plate this up. So we're going to go ahead, put about a half a cup of the ratatouille in the center of the plate. Okay, there we go. We're gonna add some of the julienne, and you can see what it looks like. The julienne basil on top, lovely. Go right on top of that. We're gonna place our tuna steaks on top of the ratatouille. Now this is where I get crazy. Now you should not really eat raw or undercooked foods, but this is just so wonderful, such a wonderful addition to this recipe that if you're daring, living dangerously and have a good immune system, just take a nice fresh organic egg. Let's see if I can get this right, people. And we're just gonna separate the yolk out from the white. So I'm going to go ahead and put a yolk right on top. Stay, stay, please stay. I'm going to do one more for this one. I was going to say don't try this at home, but try this at home. It's really good. What happens is the yolk, when you break the yolk, it goes down the side of the tuna steak, makes for wonderful richness in the ratatouille. This one's going to slide off. Okay, come on. Come on. No. Okay, it may go. Oh, I love it. And then you just drizzle with a little bit of soy sauce over the top and a little bit of olive oil if you want, and it is delicious and ready to eat. Healthy, good for you. You won't want to eat that other stuff. Join us next time on the Locavore Healthy Living Kitchen. See you then.
Get your healthy living tips and recipes from cookhealthytoday.com.